What's going on, guys? Today I wanted to talk about music and what is important about it. So one of the main people I want to talk about today is Kanye West, and the reason why I want to talk about him is today in the mail I got a beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy limited edition vinyl set, and tomorrow I'll have a review on that and show you what's inside of it. It's very cool, very neat, and I just wanted to talk about what makes Kanye West such a good musician and artist. And people like to label artists. I watched the interview on Drake a couple, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, and one of the things that he brought up was that he doesn't even consider himself a rapper, but a lot of people put him in that category of being a rapper, because in the most recent Grammys he won awards for being a rapper, but he considers himself a pop artist, which I agree, because he doesn't really rap that much. If you listen to his music, it's not as much rap as there is other types of pop music. And what makes, I would like to put Kanye in that category of not really being a rapper, because he doesn't really rap. His music is more pop, hip-hop. It's not really rap at all. And the thing with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is that album is not really rap at all, not whatsoever. And it's a very good album, because if you go on Apple Music or anywhere, I'm pretty sure you can probably find it on YouTube. It's a video of him displaying all the songs, pretty much most of the songs from the album, in a video format, and he's in there and he's basically explaining what every song means, and he just shows it in the format of a video, and it's very interesting. It's like a 30-minute video. It's almost like it's the movie. It's called Runaway Movie. It's very, I guess you call it a movie. It's very, very interesting. It makes you appreciate albums more, and that's what I like about just like small things that they could add that make people appreciate things more about the album. Because, before I didn't really like the album, but once I saw the video I was like, alright, I kind of get it and understand it a little bit better. And that's what I like so much about it, is that he took an album and turned it into something like that. It's so neat that, now with all the different types of media and ways that artists can portray their music and put it out there, it just opens new doors to where they could attract people to liking their music and their albums, because I was not about that album at all when I first heard it. But once you hear it alongside the video, it makes it to where you understand it better, and you understand what he's saying better. It's very, very interesting. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go check it out. But one of the things that I think that makes artists like Drake and Kanye so popular amongst people is that when they make their music, there's just so much emotion inside their music, and that's one thing that make artists very, very popular, and makes them speak to people. Because if you look at like SoundCloud, for example, you look at people like XXXTentacion, where they have emotion in their music, and that's what's making him so popular. The most, ironic thing is that his most popular song doesn't have it in there. But if you listen to other music other than that one song, it's very emotional. Like, people like to think of emotional being like, romantic or just lovey-dovey, but it's not anything like that. It's like just having emotion behind the words that you're saying, and that's what makes music so important nowadays, is that you can go on SoundCloud and look at people like Lil Pump. There's not very much emotion in there. It seems like every song that he has is just a repetitive beat, just keeps on going, and pretty much the same words throughout it. But if you listen to someone like Drake, it's different stuff going on, and they tell a story. And another thing that was mentioned in that interview is that he can wait to put out a song because he wants to tell a story from his life. That's one thing I think is so important about pop and hip-hop, is that they're there to tell people stories. It's so cool just to see how they like to tell the story, just like how Kanye had the Runaway video. He told it in such a way that attracted people to want to know more about it. And if you look at other SoundCloud rappers like Ugly God, he's not very popular right now because X wanted to move his platform to Apple Music pretty much, but he still puts out music on a regular basis on SoundCloud. But it's important to find other ways to put your music out there other than SoundCloud, because, you know, it attracts more people, because some people still don't know what SoundCloud is. I think there's more people definitely that have Apple Music other than SoundCloud. Another thing that I personally don't like about Ugly God is that, you know, I have some of his songs as liked in my playlist on SoundCloud, but, you know, I will try to figure out what song is playing, but most of them have like the same repetitive beat, and I don't really like it because all of his beats can go with any of his songs. He's not really coming out with much new music, and that's the part that people like consistency. So whenever you have an album or you have an artist like Ugly God, he doesn't come out with music that often. Just in the time that I've, you know, started listening to him, whenever I first got SoundCloud, he doesn't really have that much stuff out, and that's one thing that I think hurts his popularity, because, you know, he has such potential to be such a great musician and rapper, is that if he expanded the horizons of how he could make music, he would definitely become a lot more popular. And that's another thing that made X so popular, is that he just stick to one category of music. He widened the horizon of how different types of music he can make, because, you know, you can find, you know, just any type of music on there, and he doesn't like to stick to one type, and that's one thing that I think that makes him so popular, is that, you know, anybody could like them. That's another thing with like Drake, and I don't like comparing them obviously because I think they still have beef going on still, but it's the truth that they're very alike in very many ways. Is because, you know, musicians that have emotion in their music, they're going to become more popular. I think that's the most important thing when you're becoming an artist in the music scene, is that more diversity in your music and the more emotion you have in your music, people like that. Because just like what, you know, I heard in an interview, they were talking about Tupac, and they were saying that he made music that may not have been so popular at the time, but it was music that would be popular today and forever, because it's music that people can relate to at all times. It's not music that's just situational. Like, just like Drake, he has music that can help people through, you know, hard times. You know, people like to put him in the category of, like, you know, sad music, but if you listen to it, it tells a story, which is a very important thing, because a lot of music tells stories. It's like if you listen to The Life of Pablo, if you listen to like 30 Hours or No More Parties in LA, they both tell stories about why he doesn't like parties in LA and how the whole story of 30 Hours went. I like how it tells you why that's so important. And it's just, the whole thing with music is that they told the story, but they still kept the emotion in there, which is very important. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, you know, the new generation of music and rappers, or whatever you want to call them, that it's really changed a lot, because now there's not much emotion in music. And I think that's just because, you know, people don't get it now. Like, they just don't really care about it. But I think it's very important to people's success that they keep that in the music, because without it, you lose touch of what it's really about, why you're making the music. So if you have that emotion and you have story behind the music, it makes your music relevant forever. It makes you want to listen to it over and over and over again. That's like with Kendrick Lamar. His music, there's so much stuff hidden inside of it and different emotion that's in it that you can listen to that 5,000 times and probably not still get the full message about it. That's what's so great about him, because he tells a story and you're trying to still figure out the full story behind it, but you have to listen to it several times. If you listen to someone like Lil Pump, there's no story behind it, but people still like it, which I don't understand. But I'm not saying his music is trash, I'm just saying I don't understand it from my viewpoints. But that's all I really wanted to talk about today, is just how the importance of what can make someone successful in music. If you like this video, make sure you drop the like and subscribe. I'll try to update or try to upload more, and make sure you subscribe.